Welcome to Bright English Lab, where English is made simple.
Welcome to Bright English Lab. This is not a channel about memorizing rules or repeating boring exercises. Here, we help you understand English the way it's actually used, in real life, by real people. If you're listening right now, take a moment. Relax, put on your headphones, and focus. Because from this point on, you're stepping into Bright English Lab, where English finally makes sense. Hi, I'm Elias.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
So, picture this. You're at a party. Someone asks what languages you speak, and you say English. Suddenly, everyone wants to practice with you.
Right, but when you say you speak, Italian, people just say, "Oh, that's nice."
Exactly. There's something different about English, a kind of pressure that doesn't exist with other languages.
And that's what we're exploring today. Is learning English really different from learning other languages?
By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly why English feels harder, and you'll have 3 mindset shifts that will change how you approach learning it.
If you've ever felt like English is treating you unfairly compared to people learning Spanish or French, stick around. This one's for you.
Let's get into it.
So here's the big question. Why does learning English feel so different?
I think a huge part of it is obligation. Most people don't choose English the way they choose, say, Japanese or Portuguese.
True. For so many learners around the world, English isn't optional. It's required for school, for work, for travel.
I remember when I studied French in high school. It was fun because I didn't have to be good at it. No pressure.
Makes sense. But with English, there's always this voice in your head saying, "You need this. You have to pass that test. You have to speak at work."
And that pressure kills curiosity. Learning a language should feel like exploring a new world, not checking off a to-do list.
Absolutely. When you feel like you have to learn something, your brain resists it. It's psychology.
I've talked to so many people who say, I love Korean dramas. I'm learning Korean for fun. But English? English feels like homework.
Right. Because when you choose a language, you connect it to something you love. A culture, a hobby, a person.
But for some people, English gets connected to stress. Job interviews, exams, visa applications. For God's sake.
Yeah. And here's the problem. That sense of obligation can create a negative feedback loop. You study because you have to, not because you want to.
So you don't enjoy it. And when you don't enjoy it, progress feels slow. And then you feel guilty.
Exactly. It becomes a chore, not an adventure. And that's a huge mental barrier.
So what can you do about it? I mean, you still need English for real reasons.
You can shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, I have to learn English, try thinking, I get to use English to do things I care about.
Bingo! Connect it to something you actually want. Like, I want to watch my favorite YouTubers without subtitles.
Or I want to travel and make friends in different countries. When you tie English to a personal goal, the obligation feeling fades.
Love that. Turn the pressure into purpose.
Exactly. Now, there's another layer to this. English isn't just seen as a skill. In many places, it's seen as a status symbol.
Oh, totally. I've noticed this. Speaking fluent English can open doors in a way other languages don't.
In a lot of non-English speaking countries, if you speak English well, people assume you're educated, wealthy, or well-traveled.
It's tied to private schools, international companies, study abroad programs, traveling opportunities, things that cost money.
Right. So English becomes more than communication. It becomes a marker of social class.
I've seen this in action. A friend of mine told me that in his country, people switch to English in meetings to sound more professional.
Even when everyone in the room speaks the same native language?
Yep, because using English signals competence, modernity, and global thinking.
That's fascinating. But it puts so much extra pressure on learners.
Totally. It's not just about communicating anymore. It's about proving something.
And that fear of judgment makes people freeze up. They're scared of making mistakes because mistakes might make them look uneducated.
Which is the opposite of how language learning works. You have to make mistakes to improve.
Exactly. But when English is tied to your social image, every mistake feels like a personal failure.
So, how do you deal with that? Because the pressure is real.
You have to separate your worth from your English level. Your value as a person isn't measured by your grammar or your accent.
That's powerful. English is a tool, not a test of your intelligence.
Exactly. Think about native speakers. They make mistakes all the time, and no one questions their intelligence.
True. I mess up words constantly, and no one cares.
Right. So give yourself the same grace. You're learning. Mistakes are part of the process, not proof that you're not good enough.
And honestly, most native English speakers are just impressed that you're trying. They're not judging your accent.
Absolutely. The judgment usually comes from inside your own head, not from the people you're talking to. Before we continue, let me tell you something quickly. If you want to keep improving your English, hear new lessons like this every week, and feel more confident when you speak, make sure to subscribe to Bright English Lab so you don't miss future episodes. And if this lesson is helpful for you right now, giving it a thumbs up tells YouTube that this kind of clear, practical English content is useful, and it helps other learners find it too. All right, let's continue.
So the second mindset shift is stop treating English like a status test. Treat it like a conversation.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about something that makes English extra tricky: the sheer amount of exposure.
Oh, this is a big one. English is everywhere. Movies, music, social media, business, science.
Which sounds like a good thing, right? More exposure should mean easier learning.
But it actually creates a weird problem. You hear English constantly, but you hear so many different versions of it.
Exactly. American English, British English, Australian, Indian, Nigerian English, plus all the slang, idioms, and regional accents.
So learners hear one phrase in a movie, a different version in a podcast, and then their textbook teaches something totally different.
And that's confusing. It makes you feel like you're never learning the right English.
With a less common language, like Swedish, you're probably learning one main version. You're not overwhelmed by 50 dialects.
Right. And because English is the global language, everyone has an opinion on how you should speak it.
Your teacher says one thing, your favorite YouTuber says another, your textbook says a third thing.
So the third mindset shift is this: stop looking for the one correct English. It doesn't exist.
There's no single right way to speak English. There's just effective communication.
Exactly. Focus on being understood, not on sounding like one specific accent or textbook.
And the cool thing is, once you let go of that perfectionism, learning becomes way more fun.
Totally. You stop worrying about whether you said it the British way or the American way, and you just say it.
All right, let's bring this all together. What have we learned today?
First, English often feels like an obligation, not a choice, and that kills motivation. The fix? Connect English to something you actually care about.
Second, English is sometimes seen as a status symbol, which creates fear of judgment. Remember, your worth isn't tied to your grammar.
And third, because English is everywhere, learners get overwhelmed by all the different versions. Stop chasing perfection. Focus on communication.
So here's our question for you. What's the biggest mental block you've had with learning English? Was it pressure, fear, confusion, or something else?
Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story.
And hey, if this episode helped you see English learning in a new way, do us a quick favor and hit the like button.
It really helps other learners find this kind of content. And if you want more episodes like this, subscribe to Bright English Lab so you don't miss the next one.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care and keep learning.